Hey, what's up, pickleball fans? Welcome to a quick recap of the Major League Pickleball St. Louis event that was just last weekend, so I'm a little bit late getting to it. I'm going to focus on the premier level teams, and then there was a blockbuster trade that happened that got everyone talking. Ben Johns went to the LA Mad Drops. So let's dive into the action. It was played at the Shea Fitz Arena. The stakes were high, paddles were swinging, St. Louis event. The MLP St. Louis event held at the massive Shea Fitz Arena was a spectacle. It drew some big crowds, showcasing 6 of the premier level teams: the St. Louis Shock, the Dallas Flash, Columbus Sliders, Atlanta Bouncers, Brooklyn Pickleball Team, and the Chicago Slice. The hometown St. Louis Shock were led by their owner, Richard Shea Fitz, and his son, and they came in hot. They were fresh off a dominant performance in Columbus, and they didn't disappoint, stealing the show by snapping the Dallas Flash's incredible 15-0 win streak in a thrilling rematch. Actually, Dallas had lost previously in the day to the Sliders, and then the Flash came in as well. And they had a rematch of the MLP midseason tournament final, and the Shock's victory was powered by Anna Bright and Gabe Tardio. It put them at the top of the premier standing, so proving that they're a serious not only just a serious playoff contender, but a serious favorite to win the entire thing. So the Dallas Flash, despite their first loss of the season to the Columbus Sliders, remain a powerhouse still. They're 15-2 after they had lost to the Shock as well. So with their deep roster, they're still favorites heading into MLP Dallas. The Columbus Sliders also turned heads, pulling off a huge upset against the Dallas Shock, showing that they're not to be underestimated. And meanwhile, the Chicago Slice, led by James Ignatowicz, put up a strong fight against the Atlanta Bouncers, and the Brooklyn Pickleball Team held their own in their Sunday matchup against the St. Louis. And that was actually aired on ESPN, so that was kind of cool, ESPN2. So kind of cool to see the sport continue to grow and be put on national television. So the energy in St. Louis was electric. The local pickleball community turned out. They had a big force there in St. Louis, making this one of the biggest MLP events in history. And now I want to change gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the trade deadline. There was some fishy stuff that happened at the trade deadline. The trade deadline ended up being moved twice. And the blockbuster trade deal involving Ben Johns was actually happened after the initial trade deadline had been moved. So Ben Johns was traded to the LA Mad Drops, and Etta Wright was traded to the Mad Drops and then moved over to Utah. So as a Utah Black Diamonds fan, I'm super happy about that. So that trade shook the pickleball world. A lot of people are wondering if there's some collusion involved in it. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever be able to see. There's too many people with their hands in the pot, I think, in this one. So Ben Johns was traded to LA Mad Drops in a massive 3-team deal. LA Mad Drops ended up landing Ben Johns. Like I said, Black Diamonds got Etta, Tuin and Toa, and then some other players that aren't as relevant were moved around as well. And so now Ben Johns replaces Kwang Dong in the starting lineup, possibly making Catherine and Ben the best mixed team. And also, you got Kawamoto and Catherine Perreno right now as the ranked number 1 women's team, I think. And so that's going to be a tough team to beat. No one's going to want to play them in the playoffs. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'll continue to do these. There's a MLP event happening right now. So I'll cover that once it finishes, but leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.